Hey guys, a warm welcome back to the Forensics Detailing channel. Do not forget to subscribe. Today we're going to be looking at Poorboys World, the American brand, polishing and detailing products, EXP1. This is Poorboys Pure Sealant. So not sort of like that implies it's more sealant technology than kind of wax or stuff like that. Extra shine, extra protection, extra long lasting. There's our product claims. What is it? Poorboys EXP is a pure sealant that makes it easy to bring out the brilliance in your new or well-maintained vehicle. It gives unbeatable protection, that's a big claim, and shine with ease of use. EXP is compatible with most other products and can be used in the sun or shade. Always like that, so it's a bit more forgiving. Right, so you should surface should be clean on your car, so you don't go whacking a sealant on if it's all covered in dirt. It's not going to help. And or polished before use. Yeah, well, not always. Yeah, we recommend use of the professional polish or SSR1 before application. Well, what if your paintwork's immaculate and doesn't need polishing? So you only recommend that if it needs it. I'm being pedantic, but that's what you have to do when you read this stuff. But yes, I get what they're saying. It's, yeah, place a small amount on a damp applicator sponge, spread the product evenly, one section at a time, let it dry to a slight haze or 30 to 60 minutes for a deeper shine. Yeah, okay. Then wipe off with a smooth microfiber cloth. If you're using EXP in the hot sun, do one section at a time and remove immediately. For use with a PC, you put it on your computer. I think they mean porter cable there. That tells you that the instructions, if that's a porter cable, these instructions haven't been updated for like 15 years. Use foam finishing pads, apply evenly, yeah, and then buff it with the microfiber essentially. Recommend using the QD or protection tips. Health and safety information there, which is all good and all that kind of harmful stuff that you want to see there. No hazard warning signs. That could either be because there aren't any on the SDS or they're just not on there, but they would need to be on there if they're on the SDS. You can tell me that. There is also no volume information, so it doesn't tell me how much product I've got. Usually you'll get, I think you're required to state, I could be wrong on that, that's just my opinion, for, you know, if it's 473 ml or half a litre, you should put that on the bottle so people know how much they're buying. I think that's important, even if it's not a legal requirement, it'd be nice to have. Product is an emulsion. Product has a very, very pleasant coconut scent to it. It needed a good shake before I bought it. It looked a bit ropey in the bottle, but after shaking it up, it's been a really nice creamy emulsion. So there we go. Right, now let's move on to prices. This product cost me, I bought it on eBay, $17.45 for 500 ml delivered, which is a pretty strong price. To give you an example cross comparison, Menzerna Powerlock, which is a similar sealant, is $12.50 for 250 ml. So it's a good price on one of the popular options. Maguire's synthetic sealant 2.0 is about 25 to 30 quid for 500 ml. So it's significantly cheaper than the Maguire's option. Autoglim EGP, which is more of a solvent wax, but a similar protection emulsion, is 18 quid for 500 ml. So it scales up well. My favourite one there, Ultralock, you can't really get that in the UK. Bottom line is $17.45 for 500 ml of polymer sealant or whatever. Does it say it's polymer? Well, sealant, let's just call it sealant, is very good value. So that's a positive for me. Don't think you probably can get sealants that are a bit cheaper. You'd have to go really digging around with some unfamiliar brand names and stuff, whereas I think Poorboys have got a pretty good reputation for their products. So I'm really comfortable with that price. Right, so we've covered label, health and safety, if that's an issue. No volume, you know, how much product. Let's talk about application, guys. So when you put this down, you do need a damp applicator. This car doesn't have it on there. You need a damp applicator. When you spread this, it seems to spread fine. But if you ever go back over a bit where you've spread to rework it, it can flash very quickly. And you actually, as you go back over the bit you've done, you can actually lift the product off to a clean panel. So a damp microfiber does help with that, and without it, I noticed that. You do have to be careful. You need sometimes they say less is more. With this, you want that wet film going on as you're going on. And if it isn't nice and wet, when you go back over it, you lift up your own product, which is unusual. It has a very light solvent in it, which starts to vape very quickly. So I'm interested. The instructions are very accurate. If you're outside, it seems to vape quicker as well. So yeah, not a problem. Spread on it's okay. It's not particularly slidey and oily, but it's easier to spread generally than a wax because it's it's not as a wax is a hard dissolved component, whereas this type of polymer sealant, the backbone isn't such a heavily dissolved material, so generally it's a bit less thick to spread. They go on very nice. There is just that one application. So yeah, be wary that you could get an inconsistent film if you don't make sure you've got a bit of a damp applicator and spread it. Okay. Next claim, unbeatable protection. So we put this out on our test panel. We left it for 24 hours to cure, and then we've done consecutive wash passes over this. After the first wash pass, or just before we go on to washing, base hydrophobicity, when we put water on it. Out of the 4 products in total that I compared it to, so it's just, that's the order that are on the panel, like that. This is the least hydrophobic. These 2 on application are extremely beady, like 9 or 10s out of 10, you know, top tier beading at some level. And this one's sort of like a 7 out of 10. This one, I'd actually describe the hydrophobicity as very average for car protection products in this day and age. You would not buy this product, in my opinion, if you were looking for the most hydrophobic product on the market. You would maybe opt for this if you don't mind, you don't care about hydrophobics at all and you're happy with the sheeting action. So yeah, very average to below average hydrophobicity. And to be fair, it doesn't make any product claims around that, but we're having a look at that. So the least hydrophobic product. Durability. After putting this through consecutive wash passes 24 hours later, it seemed pretty clear to me that the Poorboys EXP sealant was degrading quicker than the other ones. Interesting results that bead coat seemed to take an initial hit where I was thinking that's unusual. And then the middle 2, the wax and the other sealant, Jeshco Ultra Lock, were good. Then bead coat made a comeback at some point between 10 and 20 where it was hanging on better than the Ultra Lock. But for sure, out of all 4 products, the Auto Glim held on the best. Which is a wax, ironically. Yeah, for sure, the Poorboys World, after 20 passes, was barely visible, and you may declare it kind of dead after 20. The others were still there, but degraded, which is what we'd expect. So, with that test in mind, I would say that I haven't experienced the ultimate protection, but that is just a simulated, repetitive wash thing rather than using it on a real car. But that does translate. That's reliable to a certain extent, because that's you know, what you do is you wash your car, but it doesn't take into account driving your car and dirt getting on the car and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, it doesn't look like it's got the ultimate protection for me in terms of beading and durability. So product needed shaking. Yeah, that's okay. Damp applicator required or of benefit to follow the instructions. So those are some negative constructive criticisms around the product. Some of the pros, the smell's lovely. The buff on this, one of the main things about these polymer sealants that I love is no matter, once you've laid them out, and they're not difficult to lay out, it's like laying out a lightweight wax that doesn't have any oil and spreads a bit easier than the wax, a slightly thinner emulsion. It's like laying out a kind of moisturiser without oil in it. Hard to describe. It's like laying out a water-based emulsion with the silicone polymer in it. The buff on it is phenomenal. Yeah, really good buff. Once that starts to haze, you'd think traditionally with other forms of resins and protections, you're mindful of them curing and drying, sometimes with waxes, and they can toughen up the film. You have to buff on them a bit. These silicone polymer things, or pure sealants, whatever it is, they have this party piece that the film that dries on the car is so easy to buff. A lot of professionals would favour putting a sealant on, and there's no risk of any kind of greasy films with them or holograms, you know, like the oil holograms you could sometimes get. They are so nice to apply. I really do like these products. I'm having a bit of a renaissance with them. And the buffing on that is phenomenal. And when you buff it as well, they have this nice silky silicone feel to them that is just really good. You get a real clean finish. I don't think you get the same depth of gloss as a paste wax, but that's just purely an opinion. But you get a clean, slick, lovely finish with very minimum effort. And then when you're doing that all around your car, you sort of start to appreciate these products and think, yeah, these baseline sealants are really good. Nice buff, lovely feel, solid price. So we're getting to where we need to go. Conclusions on this product, guys. I feel this product perhaps is showing its age a little bit now. I feel that each product, you know, protection product, you have opportunities to impress. You can impress with slickness, with beading, with durability. You can impress with really fancy applicator and packaging. And I just feel this product has failed on those opportunities to impress with the beadage. You know, slickness is okay, but it's just failed on most of the opportunities. It's like a steady, it's like what you'd expect a polymer sealant to do, and it does it, you know, well. So market leading slickness, no. Market leading beading, no. Fastest to apply, no. You've really got to wait half an hour to an hour most times. Spray sealants will always be like a lot quicker. Most durable, no. Not, and all of this is just in my opinion. Formulation has a very light solvent in it, which gives it a quick vape, which we've talked about. Unusually quick, quicker than the Ultra Lock. This Ultra Lock as well, when you spread it, and this is another polymer sealant, but with added SiO2 technology. This polymer sealant, when you spread it, the film over there, you can still go back over it. It doesn't instantly dry, so you can, if you've missed any bits, you can just work it. It's a little bit more suitable, I think, the solvent system in this particular product. It's also slidier when you apply it, and slidier when you buff it. This product has more slickness than this product, and it has more durability and hydrophobicity, in my opinion. It's not as cheap though, and you can't get it. So sealants seem to have been forgotten. Why? The Americans are the country that really sort of offered these polymer sealants. I can't think of that many UK ones. Menzerner, I think, are a German brand. I can't think of many UK companies that really go hell for leather on polymer sealants. What are polymer sealants? Well, typically they're amino-functional silicon polymers, so they bond to the paintwork. They contain a form of silicon. And I realise now that I think they're called polymer sealants because the industry doesn't like to call them silicon sealants because of the fear that they're not body shop safe. But wax on a car isn't body shop safe and often has additional forms of SI material, silicon material in them. So there's no difference really. But I think, yeah, I don't think they want to use the word silicon, I get, because I think it scares off body shops and professionals, so it shouldn't. Feels outdated, I've already mentioned that. Silicon polymer, yeah, that's the point I wanted to make about the lack of, they just say polymer technology. And apologies if it is some different form of polymer, but typically with a polymer, it's usually a silicon polymer. It certainly feels like a silicon polymer. I want it to be a silicon polymer as well. Because a lot of, yeah, I like silicon polymers. I think they're really cool. I think they're cool. And it's interesting they've died a death more than waxes and no one talks about them. Although some of you will correct me on this, but that's what I feel. It's all moved on to spray sealants. You can kind of see why it's moved on to ceramic spray sealants, a bit like the bead coat. Because in essence, right, I can just spray that bead coat on and buff it and it's done. In essence, this one, I've got to apply it by hand all over the car. I've got to wait for half an hour and I've got to buff it all off over the car. So it's an extra hour and it doesn't appear to be as durable as the new wave alternative that's more rapid. So these water-based products have really grown in popularity because people can protect up their car in seconds rather than hours. But I prefer these. Guys, I'm going to just summarise here. I think the Jescar Ultra Lock is a better product. What they've done is taken a polymer sealant like their Power Lock product, added ceramic to it, which is usually a big buzzword. Haven't mentioned in the product name it's a ceramic sealant. They do tell you it's got ceramic polymer in it in the blur, but they haven't gone overboard in hyping up the ceramic. But this improved formula has advantages with slickness and durability, and it even claims it on the products, and I can see it. So I think Poorboys could have almost benefited from taking the next step and having the Poorboys ceramic sealant and taking this product to the next level. And it feels like this product is a little bit dated now. I've made all these points. I've criticised this product. And ultimately, if I was looking to buy one or the other, I would buy this if it was available, but I wouldn't, if it wasn't, this would serve me reasonably well. There's another polymer sealant that I might revisit, the Maguire's M21 2.0 synthetic sealant. Very similar to the Poorboys, but I don't remember it vaping out so quickly as the Poorboys. And from memory, I probably prefer the Maguire's over the Poorboys, but the reality is it would be just the same. This Poorboys product is a good, reasonable example of a polymer sealant at a very good price point. It wouldn't make my final shelf, unfortunately. Sorry to say it. I have nothing against Poorboys. Any brand whose products make my final shelf, I'm interested in them, and I like the way there's no BS with this particular brand, and it's just, this is our chemical and this is a belter, and that makes my final shelf. Again, not because of durability or anything, just for a glaze, that is as good as it gets, the wipe down on it and everything like that. I don't know, part of me almost thinks I should put that on my shelf, but the bottom line is no, I definitely prefer the Jesscar Ultra Lock, and I would look to buy that, and I would pay a little bit more for it. So there we go, there's the review. There it is. Let me know if you think that's fair, if you think that's unfair. I'll try and look at some more Poorboys World products. Maybe see if they've got a more modern sealant, or check out some of their spray waxes and stuff like that. I like the non-BS. I'm having a renaissance with these older brands as well that were cool back in the day, that had cool products. And they've definitely got some cool stuff. So there we go. I might try out their Natty's Paste Wax. I've used it before. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon on the Forensics Detailing channel. Bye for now.
Holding on to what I knew, but the moment's gone. Where was I when